Did you get the memo, Steven?
Wear the yellow shirt?
Well, no, Sutter didn't get it. No, Sutter didn't get it.
You guys don't tell me anything.
What shirt are you wearing, by the way?
A Polar Outdoor Stuff crew neck hoodie.
Is that a company?
It's a company.
They're called
Sweet
Polar
shirt, bro.
Outdoor Stuff?
Yes.
Well, that sounds cool. What, they send you some stuff for your trip?
Yeah, some sleeping bags.
Well, they failed because they should have been yellow.
Oh, okay.
Nice shirt, though.
Thanks, dude. You like it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lens hood sticking out.
Yeah.
It looks like a lens hood to me. So, do you like our surroundings this week?
Yeah, it's not as windy. I can
Well,
actually
wasn't
hear
that
you a lot better.
windy?
It was pretty windy. These mics, though.
First off.
Awesome.
First off.
What?
You couldn't hear me because you had schmegma on your head, blocking your ears.
Hey, I want to say, too, literally every single person on that trip, minus, like, you, were wearing one of those scarves.
Well, Todd didn't wear schmegma.
Well, I'm saying on their side, their team.
Oh, yeah, they all had
Adventure-driven
shamagas
team.
on.
Every single one of them had one.
Yeah.
And then I wear one and get ripped apart on the internet.
Little boy I once knew. You did look like a Russian.
I did. I'm not going to lie. I did.
Somebody said
Someone
something.
also said I looked like E.T. from the side. And I thought that was pretty good, too.
E.T.
Because I kind of did.
Bulb hope.
That was a pretty awesome episode, though.
You ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. Welcome to episode number 136 of RAWtalk. This week we have coming into the studio Cliff Mautner. He is one of the world's best wedding photographers around. So expect to hear some really good insight because he has been around a long time. He commands a high-value wedding, but because he's worth it. He shoots something like 40 to 50 weddings a year and is really damn good at what he does. If I was getting married, I would look into his services.
Definitely.
Because...
Well, and he's local to us.
Well, he's local to us, yeah. Philly, New York,
Yeah.
and the world. But my thing with a wedding photographer is I'm going to spend money on the things that are going to live on instead of the things that are going to not.
Now-
like flowers.
What about
What?
you and... would you hire a videographer for your wedding?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
I'd hire
would you
a
get a
videographer.
high-end videographer?
What's a high-end videographer?
A lot
Somebody
of
that's
people, I
good?
feel like, tend to spend the money on the photographer and tend to slack on the videographer. I'm just curious if you would get, say, a $5,000 to $10,000 videography crew as well.
I don't know.
Or would you just go all out on photography and just get someone that's okay?
I don't see. To me, bar mitzvahs or wedding. You get videos for bar mitzvahs because they're important. You know, the video seems to be what's going on. For a wedding, though, I don't know how much. I love the storytelling that they do, so I don't know what I would hire for.
I don't know what I would do either. I think it comes down to money for me.
Well, it does. I would look into Cliff for myself.
Yeah.
And I would spend less money on flowers. Damn woman, you're not getting flowers.
It's terrible.
You don't bring
You know
me
it's the Woman's
flowers.
Day, right?
Yeah, but I hopefully she gets it. Like, we're on the same page. That let's spend money on the things that matter. Like, let's
Just marry another photographer and you'll be set. Then you both will agree on that.
I gotta find one.
You do.
I gotta find one. But then I'd be like, I don't like your Dutch angles. Why do you shoot so many Dutch angles? Stop shooting Dutch angles.
You guys will fight about the stupidest things all the time.
Nah, it's hard to talk with
Your
photographers.
lines are not straight.
They are no. Look.
Why are you shooting JPEG?
That's a deal breaker, man.
That is first date. You're done.
I'd be like, what? Respect out the window.
Did you not read my shirt the first date?
Yeah. What are you saying? I wear my shirts out when I go.
That's all you wear. That is your wardrobe. You are a cartoon character with what you wear.
All right, let's talk about last week real quick.
All right.
I'm not a cartoon character.
I knew that one.
It says discuss last week's show and adventure. We already talked about that because we had the
talked
show.
about a lot of it, yeah.
But why don't we talk about the drone footage real quick so
Epic.
people can understand the drone footage?
Oh, yes.
First off, any comment that says it was illegal what we did to fly a drone, quote unquote, in a national park is, yeah, you would be correct if we were in the national park. We were not in the national park. We were on the other side. So the national park starts when the hole in the ground starts.
Yep.
So the hole in the ground over where we were sitting is private Navajo land, which we had permits and permission to be on. So we can do that with respect, with As long as the animals weren't around and we weren't scaring them
Yep.
by flying the drones, we were perfectly fine.
Which they weren't even near us. They were
They
still
were
a couple
they
miles.
were nowhere near us. Just
Yeah.
the horse manure was. On the other hand, we also didn't get within like 100 feet of the canyon when we were flying. So no drone or rocks ever passed the wall of the canyon. So we were not flying or breaking the rules, federal rules.
Nope.
We put that to rest. Talk about real quick the cards in the cameras. We are officially using Lexar cards for RAWtalk.
Yes, we are.
They are quote unquote the official card of RAWtalk. There's a Lexar card. We have the SD Lexar cards. We have the micro SD up there, and those are the official cards.
Yep.
And we've got an Atomos Ninja still over there. Sorry, an Atomos Shogun.
Yes.
Doing that one. But Lexar has come on for that, and we'll talk about them on the wheel later. Now let's get to the official Pluggy McPluggerson for the show. This one is from Rode. Well, we have to give props to Rode for last week, first off.
I still can't believe that these mics held up that well in wind.
Well, we
without
had
any additional wind screens.
Right, these have a built-in windscreen. So we used the Rode broadcasters at the Grand Canyon. They were there, gaff taped to the stands, working well.
Yep.
They sounded unbelievable. As a backup, just in case, we wore something underneath.
We had lavs underneath.
We had lavs underneath just in case as a backup because we wanted to make sure that if one thing happened, either one was going to work. And I always want to use the Rhodes because they just look good.
They sound
and
good.
they sound
Yeah.
incredible. So the fullness of the sound, and it
I'm
was
glad
great.
we got to use them.
And there was only a couple of wind gusts, and I didn't
And
hear
they
them
still
either.
held up really good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was shocked when I got home and started to edit that audio. I was like, wow, these held up so good. Some people even had to, there was one comment, I believe, on YouTube that said, I had to go back and watch the video because I didn't believe you were at the Grand Canyon because I was just listening to the audio portion.
Right.
And it sounded so well.
Yeah, you're in trouble if you watch last week's, if you listened only to the audio.
Yeah, you need to definitely watch
It's kind
that
of
one.
one of those that you have to watch RAWtalk.
for sure.
So, entries for the My Road Reel International Short Film, not Short Bus competition have now closed. They're officially closed, but they want me to let you know you can view all the short films and vote for your favorite by visiting
myrodereel.com.
Woo! Visiting myroadreel.com. The winning of there's a People's Choice Award.
Really?
The winner of the People's Choice Award will take home a filmmaking package worth more than $40,000.
They can have like a award show?
Maybe they I watched some of the AVN awards on TV. That was so bad.
Oh, man.
I want to thank my mom for being here today.
That's terrible.
Yes, she did. The girl thanked her.
that's
She
gotta
was
be
the
awkward.
DVDA winner.
Oh, that's
Digital video.
my little girl.
Digital video, digital audio. So if you entered my road reel competition, go ahead and now you can vote, right?
When are they actually going to pick winners, or when is the voting process completely?
Well, if you
done
want to
for
know
that?
the answer for that, you can go to myroadreel.com because I don't have an answer to that. Alongside each entry is a behind-the-scenes video showing how the film was created, so that so there's hours of educational footage showing how the world's best up-and-coming filmmakers are honing their craft. Well, that's pretty good.
I hope they're
actually.
only like 50-second behind-the-scenes videos, though.
Well, it was required to show you using Rode products in their in the video
See,
submissions.
that's cool though. A couple $100,000 worth of prizes. Did you guys enter? If you entered the My Road Reel competition as a Fro reader, go onto Facebook and leave a comment on the page or something, or tweet it to me. I know I saw one of them, which was a guy who bought a ring for a girl to get married and then ends up throwing it in the water at the end, type of thing.
Like Titanic?
It wasn't Titanic. No. If you did enter, I want to see we want to see it because we want to see what you did, and maybe if it's really good, we can push it out there and say,
Yeah.
a Fro reader did this. Go vote for theirs, and maybe you can split the prize money with us. Mm-hmm. And that would be good. But no, a big shout out to Rode. Whether you need a $99 shotgun mic to get better audio out of the camera on your DSLR, or you need to get something like it's a $500 broadcaster mic, there's plenty of different options, and including their new $400 lavalier.
Yeah, and we actually used all their shotgun mics, too, out in the field during the Grand Canyon when we had them on the C300s. It was great for scratch audio, great for just external audio, anything.
Got it, Steven. Why don't we get into photo news?
Let's do it.
After photo news, we will do our interview with Cliff.
Yes.
And after that, we will do Gear of the Week and round up the show with not one, not 3, not
7?
5,
9.
2
Oh.
spins of the Wheel of Fro.
You got me there.
I got you there.
So what are we doing for intro music? We skipped last week, which I didn't realize until we were editing.
Why didn't somebody yell at me?
I know. No one said anything.
Sutter?
Thanks for the invite, guys.
Damn it. Did anybody even point it out that
No
we
one
didn't?
did. Not one person.
You guys are slacking.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do? Pick 2 for this week?
Well, we need... No, not 2. We just do an intro and outro, and we'll just forget about last week. It was a special occasion. It was
different.
here.
Yeah,
I mean,
we ruined
The
it.
interview that didn't happen yet is wedding themed.
That's true.
Do you want to do wedding?
Do like wedding bells and...
Well, let's do
and
wedding-ish
Here
type
Comes
music.
the Bride type music.
Something. Find something.
Okay.
So to
Something
intro
wedding related.
To intro photo news music this week from audioblocks.com, Steven is going to pick this music right here. That was beautiful music, man.
So sad.
Oh, God.
So sad.
So good. You
so
should have
happy.
married him.
Tears of joy.
Wrong guy. You fucked up, bro. That's what I say to women when they marry somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, photo news, Steven.
Oh, photo news. Yeah, I forgot. There's a point to this. A new parody horror movie trailer featuring a drone is now online, simply called The Drone. The Drone, which is a DJI Phantom 2, plays a possessed evil creature, you know, the ones that you see in so many like cliche horror movies. Filmmaker Jordan Rubin, who recently directed the horror comedy Zombievers, is behind the fake film trailer. Yep.
He sounds like he's a Jew.
But the drone, it kills the dog. It flies without its battery. It paints like blood messages on the wall. It shows up in places it shouldn't be, like in the toilet when he's going to the bathroom. Chops a little thing
It
off.
was in the toilet?
Yeah, under the sheets.
Wait, is this an actual movie or just a
no,
trailer?
it's just a fake, parody trailer.
That's funny.
But the production value is superb. I mean, they definitely spent some time on this. Who knows? Next, they'll have a sequel featuring like the DJI Inspire one or something like that.
So inspiring.
That would be funny though if they actually made a full-fledged movie out of this.
Hey, you know what? Being that we have 2 drones, technically 3 here right now.
Yeah.
Why don't we just take it out to the park and try to head on?
Make a horror movie?
No, crash them into each other and have
Well,
drone
we
wars.
should have a very, very open park. Maybe do that RC park in Brooklyn that we went.
Well,
that
we
one
can
time.
find a park. We can go into the suburbs and do this.
Yeah.
Why don't we just have like drone wars? We should attach GoPros to
Why
them.
don't we just go back to the Grand Canyon area and do it on the private Navajo land?
No, then we'd scare something. But dude, could you imagine we like are chasing drones and we're like trying to attack each other in drones?
Well, and we get the first person point of view, obviously from the drone.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe mount a GoPro on top of that, drone war style.
Or what you would do is get a Lily,
Well, that's what you were saying last week.
and then you attach the unit, the tracking device to the
It'd have to be like
the
next
Phantom,
year though when they eventually come out.
and then the Lily will follow those. That would be kind of
There'd
funny.
be so many freaking drones in the sky. Moving on to a real-life drone horror story, though. Singer Enrique Iglesias was injured by a drone at a recent concert of his.
Hero, baby. I can take away your pain. I can be your hero, baby. That's what he sounds
I
like.
always think of that scene in Hot Tub Time Machine where he's like going to punch like the Russian dude.
Chernobyl.
It's a Chernobyl dude, yeah, that's
Right.
it. And then that song's
they
playing in
start
the
playing that-
background, yeah. And he's getting all hyped up.
I can't
And he's like, yeah.
take my breath away. Enrique Iglesias.
So he was performing in Mexico at a 12,000 capacity
Excuse me.
venue when a drone
Mexico.
flew over him, and he attempted to grab the camera to change its point of view to him and the crowd, and the copter pretty much nicked his hand, going out of control and slicing his hand up. Now, luckily, it looks like he held onto it for like another second or two to look for a safe place to toss it, quickly throwing it into the hopefully emptied pit in front of him.
And he hit a photographer cutting their ear
Well,
off.
that's what I wonder. It doesn't show. I tried looking up videos on YouTube to see if there was any other point of view from the crowd to see where he actually tossed it, because it kind of looks like he tossed it in the pit, but I wonder if it was the crowd, because those blades were still spinning when he tossed it. So anyway, his team ended up treating his hand on the side of the stage immediately after the incident. He was advised to cut the show short, but he kept performing with a bloodied, wrapped up hand for another half hour.
Hey, women do it all the time. Wait, is that menstrual shaming?
Terrible, dude.
But wait,
Terrible.
If Enrique didn't perform while bleeding, women do it for 5 days in a row. Hopefully with menstrual cups. As I drink
God.
out of a red Solo cup full of
So he was later rushed to a specialist in L.A. where he was treated. Now, the drone being used was owned and operated by his crew. His publicist says it's a planned part of the show where he grabs the drone out of midair and turns it to face the crowd.
Maybe you should have prop guards on.
Well, first off, flying it indoors
It
in
was
a huge
probably
venue.
outdoor venue.
It looked like it was indoors.
Oh, really?
In a crowded arena. I mean, it
Well,
just
it was
screams
Mexico.
disaster. That's true.
It does scream stupidity.
And I think, aren't they like carbon fiber blades on the actual Inspire 1? Or they're definitely thicker type blades.
Oh, yeah.
Than the DJI Phantom 2
Well, they
and
spin
3.
faster because
They
the thing
spin
flies at
much
like 40
faster.
miles an hour.
Yeah. So that's got to hurt a lot more than a normal drone.
But he went home, and Anna Kournikova took care of him. Are you okay, my hero? You're my hero. I love you.
Oh, God.
I love you.
Sing that
Enrique.
song again for me.
I will be your hero, baby. I will take away your pain. I will stay with you forever. You can take something from me. I think those were the lyrics.
Steve McCurry's assistant has been arrested in connection with stealing prints, books, and various items from his studio. The total amount in theft equals $654,358.
Yeah.
Now, the case, called the Afghan Girl Art Theft, states that 32-year-old Bree DiStefano casually abused her position of trust to make some easy money without a thought to the damage to Mr. McCurry.
And this isn't allegedly. She was arrested.
She was arrested. I mean, she's still accused of it. DiStefano was McCurry's manager of fine art print sales. She's accused of stealing 50 limited edition photo prints worth $628,000 between May 2012 and November 2013.
Do you want to know something funny?
What?
Not funny, but when I saw this article, I'm like, if you look at just the photo, it's Afghan girl on the right, it's this DiStefano on the left. I'm like, is that what the Afghan girl looks like today? Because that's what I thought they were getting at.
So she would have them shipped from his Long Island City studio to his other studio that she worked at. The photos were then allegedly sold without McCurry's authorization, in which she supposedly pocketed the money herself. She's also accused of stealing 233 books of his, valued at about $23,000, and sold under various aliases on different websites. Bail is currently set for her at $250,000.
Yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah, she did. Definitely.
Crime doesn't pay.
How would you think that you wouldn't get caught? That many prints, that many books? I mean, that's insane.
It's insane.
Speaking of stolen work, a victim to Richard Prince's latest overpriced sale has stepped forward and responded by selling the same artwork for a much cheaper price. Missy Suicide, co-founder of Suicide Girls, is now selling...
Is that a guy?
It's a girl.
It's a girl. She's now selling one of the photos that he stole from their Instagram feed and sold for $90,000 for just $90. So Missy says, in quotes, "Everyone has been asking me what I thought about famous controversial artist Richard Prince taking a series of Suicide Girls Instagram posts and printing them out and selling them at a recent gallery show for $90,000 a piece. My first thought was, I don't know anyone who can spend $90,000 on anything other than a house."
That's a cop-out statement, because I know a bunch of things that people could spend $90,000 on other than a house.
She adds, "As to the copyright issue, if I had a nickel for every time someone used our images without our permission in a commercial endeavor, I'd be able to spend $90,000 on art." She ends with, "Do we have Mr. Prince's permission to sell these prints? We have the same permission from him that he had from us. I hope you love them. Beautiful art, 99.9% of the original piece." Of the original price. Same size, same materials, everything. She's printing them out at 67 by 55 inch inkjet print on canvases. The description on their sales page reads, "Richard Prince sold our Instagram picture in a Beverly Hills gallery for $90,000. We thought that was a bit much, so we are selling them the same print for $90.
Yeah, the only difference is he didn't sign this one, and that makes his more valuable.
That is true.
Whether it's right or wrong, it's still giving more publicity to the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about, we know of a photographer who has had their photos taken by the Suicide Girls and
Yes.
posted without giving names. Correct, Sutter?
Yes.
Do I have that information correct?
Yes.
So, don't throw stones in glass houses.
There you go.
Or whatever
Yep.
that saying is. Not saying that they're wrong, but I would assume
In this scenario,
if I was to guess, Missy Suicide probably doesn't know where all the photos are coming from. So she may not be accountable, or knowing that images are taken unless she's taken them and approves the images that go out. It may be somebody else doing it, but that doesn't make it right if she doesn't know and she's the founder of Suicide Girls.
Yep.
And if you don't know what Suicide Girls is, this is a website where alternative girls, not men, right? There's no suicide men?
I'm assuming it's girls because it's called Suicide Girls, but
Oh, I almost said something.
I'm not sure.
This is Suicide Girls. You can follow them on Instagram. They don't show nudity on Instagram, but the whole point of Suicide Girls is they want you to buy a subscription to look at girls being naked, doing stuff. Whatever girls do naked.
Now, Prince responded via Twitter with, much better idea. I started off selling my family tweets for $18 at Karma not too long ago. Missy Suicide is smart.
What does that mean?
I kind of don't really know what that means.
Was he just saying, like...
I guess he's
just ripping on her.
Yeah. He's
like I saw my
kinda-
tweets.
Yep. Now, the print is now available at the Suicide Girls online store, and all profits from the sales will be donated to the Electronic Frontier Foundation.
Yeah, whatever.
With One World Trade Center opening its doors to the public for the first time this month, the official 11-year time-lapse of the iconic building being built has been released. EarthCam posted the 2-minute time-lapse of the construction, which started in October of 2004 and ended this past Memorial Day. Now, all the photos in the original megapixel construction camera from the time-lapse have been donated to the National September 11th Memorial Museum. EarthCam CEO and founder Brian Curry says, I hope it serves as a way to recognize that for the 10 years of construction, there was constant progress
Let me interrupt
made
you.
to rebuild these important 16 acres of America, end quote.
I got to interrupt you. It doesn't take 10 years to build a fucking skyscraper, all right? The fact that that thing wasn't built in a matter of 2 years or 3 years.
Well, what was the original projection? Wasn't it only a couple years they said it would be done?
Yeah, so...
I'm sure they hit a bunch of snags.
No, I used to like watching Oberman and Keith Olbermann when he had his show on CNBC or MSNBC, whatever it was. And every show that he ended, he would say the 1,356 days since construction started. And that was his thing, just saying that it took way too long to get that thing built.
You know what's pretty cool is the actual elevator ride. I saw a video of it going up to the top floor.
Yeah.
And it shows from the bottom floor to the top, as you're going up, it's pretty much a video screen showcasing a time lapse of New York City being built from that point of view where as you're rising.
That's horrible. That was one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
I was going to say,
about.
it's pretty awesome.
I want to see
I
that.
was like, are you crazy?
Yeah, I was
that
like,
sounds
that's
amazing.
incredible.
I want to see
I just
that.
wonder how long something like that took.
Well, they should put on VR goggles for that.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Really cool. But,
Steven.
what? Jared.
You can take my breath away.
I know.
'Cause I will be your hero, baby.
I shouldn't have brought that story up. GoPro
Well, I
has-
don't know any other Enrique Iglesias. Hey, can you look up some Ingreco, Enrique Iglesias songs for me, please?
I think that's the only one I know, too, off the top of my head.
And then just give us the fist when you're ready.
GoPro has officially added the new Hero Plus LCD edition to their Hero Action camera
What's it
lineup.
called?
Hero Plus LCD.
You can be my hero, baby.
God. The new camera now sports an LCD screen. Previously, only the Silver Edition only had this function. Similar to the entry-level Hero, the Hero Plus LCD is integrated into its waterproof housing. However, it has gotten a bump in resolution. It now shoots 8-megapixel stills versus the original 5 and does 1080 at 60 frames per second, where it only did 720 at 60 before. It also has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, similar to its big brothers. Also, it now supports 64-gig micro SD cards, and the original only supported up to 32.
I wonder what ours are actually rated for, by the way.
What do you mean?
Those. Because we throw 128s in it.
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I mean, we have the 4, though. That's the pretty much we have the black edition, though. That's the best one, right?
Yeah, the
I
black.
think that's the high end.
Yeah.
Now, the Hero Plus LCD will be available this week in the U.S. and July 12th internationally for $299. So it is pricier than the original Hero, but now you get an LCD screen and a bump up in resolution and other things.
So I don't speak Spanish, so this is going to be a little, But the number one song listed is El Perdón. Or I don't know how you say
got nothing.
it. Bailando.
No.
Oh, wait. That's a big one, isn't it?
I can be your Bailando.
I'm a Freak. And then Hero. And
You
then
listen to
one's
that
called
song
Why
all the
Not
time,
Me.
don't you?
Wait, what was that last one?
Hero?
No, then what?
Why Not Me?
I don't know any of
I
these
don't know them
Enrique
either.
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
got nothing.
That's
Nah,
what's listed.
they're just Hero.
Let's see. On the
Oh,
topic,
by the way, last week when I was saying what you look like,
yeah,
the Homeland show was Homeland.
yeah, I figured after 50 people commented about it.
It was Homeland.
I don't know if anyone said this yet, but Homeland.
It was Homeland.
4 days later.
It was Homeland.
On the topic of GoPro, Google has teamed up with the action cam company and announced Jump, their first jump into virtual reality. The new 360-degree virtual reality platform will use raw video footage to assemble a 3D virtual reality space. Now, to make this work, they partnered with GoPro, who has made the first jump-compatible camera, which they're calling the 360 Camera Array. How original. The new camera setup will link together 16 GoPro Hero 4 cameras in a circular formation, which, by the way, adds up to about $8,000. It'll feature camera syncing, frame-level synchronization, multi-camera control, and long battery life. It'll let you then capture a 360-degree point of view, which you can then bring into the Jump Assembler software to create your stereoscopic virtual reality video. Let's see. They say the final video will be super high resolution too, being the equivalent to 5 4K TVs being played at once. No word on pricing on the camera, but the software will be launching this summer. The Jump videos will also be viewable on YouTube this summer.
Okay.
Next story.
Yeah, I got nothing for that one.
The University of Toronto showcased their astronomical telescope that features a ton of big glass.
Oh, Canada,
God.
our home and native land.
Switch it up, bro.
True patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see the rise, the true north strong and free. God give us hope, glorious and free. Oh, Canada, you'll stand on guard for thee. I can be a hero, baby.
Lyrics by Jared Polin and Enrique Iglesias. So, instead of using a single lens, the telescope called the Dragonfly Telescope Array features 10 Canon 400mm f2.8L IS version 2 lenses that add up to about $100,000. The telescope was initially created back in 2013, but started off with only 3 lenses. More have been added since, which improves its ability to detect faint details around distant galaxies. It is designed for ultra-low surface brightness astronomy at visible wavelengths. Now, according to the university, the Dragonfly can actually see things that the largest, most advanced telescopes can't, thanks to the nanocoatings found on the optical glass, which helps to reduce scattered light that get in the way of details. The use of multiple lenses also help overcome unwanted light interference, since the images from each lens can be compared with the others. They say it's 10 times more efficient than its rival telescopes as well.
That's pretty cool.
And you can find research papers, more specific details about it over on the website. I put some links there.
FroKnowsPhoto.com/RAWtalk-136.
Yep.
That's interesting because more lenses. Well, yes, but maybe it's not as expensive as having a piece
giant
of glass.
telescope. Yeah.
Right. That's just interesting.
Yeah. Google is now offering free and unlimited storage with its new Photos service, now completely separate from Google+. They say it's a single private place to keep a lifetime of memories and access them from any device. Now, Photos will let you store unlimited high-quality images and videos for free. Down to the details, that's up to 16 megapixel photos and 1080p videos. Google will store higher resolution files as well, but they'll count toward your Google account's 15 gigs of free storage. So it won't be truly unlimited. Now, they do say they store compressed versions of the photos and videos in beautiful print quality resolution. Also, they say your stored video will look close to the original, so compression is obviously involved. Not the best option for photographers, for backup solutions. The new platform also has built-in organization too. Everything you upload is automatically organized for you with groups and labels. It also has an auto-enhance feature, which I'm sure most of us won't use. Plus, it has something called an assistant view, which helps you easily create collages, animations, movies, and much more. And there's also a built-in auto-upload feature for mobile devices for automatic backup, which is always nice. And there's your standard sharing options, so you can tweet and Facebook your images, as well as link out to albums and individual pictures.
So what you're saying is Google Plus is dead?
Pretty much. I'm surprised they didn't force you to have like a Google Plus account with this.
Because
like everything else they do.
YouTube does, yeah.
Well, YouTube still does.
Well, YouTube still does. But
this is getting pulled from Google Plus.
Yeah, yeah. And Google Photos is now available on iOS and Android along with their desktop platform.
So you can probably upload your iPhone photos right to Google to store it?
Yeah.
Well, for free, you can't beat that. Flickr's doing the same thing. Flickr's 1 terabyte free. There's always limitations.
Well, the fact that they compress this, though, is something I wouldn't do.
I mean, if it's your iPhone photos, are you that worried?
Right.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as a backup for your phone, whether you have Android or iOS, maybe just download the app and just upload shit to it.
But you use what, Dropbox?
I uploaded to Dropbox.
Because I do as well, and I think that's just a better option for us.
It's just another option.
Yeah.
And I pay money for that. I pay $100 a year.
For just iPhone, smartphone photos in general.
Yeah.
It's probably fine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can sit there and rip on the other functions, but if you want to take it down to its core that it's free, then find uses for it because it's free. I may just, upload my photos to it.
And I tried to find what file formats they support, and there was nothing. Even the help center didn't list anything as far as
I guess you just have to
specifics.
upload stuff and see if
so
it
I
works.
wonder, I'm assuming they support RAW files.
I don't think
DNGs,
they
that kind of
support
stuff.
RAW files.
You don't think so?
Or it's too new for them to even.
I don't know.
have thought about
60
that.
I mean,
megapixels.
it just said high resolution 60 megapixel photos and 1080p video. Never said anything about what type of file format.
Got it.
Adobe is adding a new dehaze tool to Lightroom in the near future. The tool will help you reduce or remove haze from an image and recover color, detail, and contrast.
Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Smoke on the water.
Now the slider defaults at 0, so you can also.
So
use
they
it-
would have just been called purple, not just purple haze, because this would get rid of the haze.
Now the slider defaults at 0, so you can also
That was good.
use it. It was good to add or increase the haze of an image, not just remove it. There's a quick preview video of the tool being used by Terry White over on the website. It's like a quick 50-second video of him just using it on a preview image. No word on when it'll come to Lightroom CC. All I say is just very soon. This is basically an easy fix for people that don't know how to use levels or curves, stuff like that. But this is why I like Lightroom CC, because it just gets integrated right away with the next update. You don't have to wait a whole year to get the new version.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great job.
And we've got one more news story. We flew by news this week. More GoPro news.
It's not like I interrupted you.
Not at all. Not at all. It's official. The Action Cam Company founder and CEO Nick Woodman announced this past week that GoPro is building its own quadcopter, and that the drone is set to launch in the first half of 2016. Now, there was rumors about this. There was rumors about this in the past, but it is official now. The drone will be in direct competition to DJI and other drone companies. As Woodman says, it's a consumer-focused company. He goes on and says, the quad is in some ways the ultimate GoPro accessory. He notes that drones are core enough to their business for it to make sense to go out and build their own. No word on pricing or exact availability yet, but again, it's now official, so I figured I'd bring that part up. And that's it for photo news.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I wonder if they're really going to take over that market, or if it's just going to be another drone like everything else.
Well, the thing is, the DJ, we know flying the Phantom 3 Pro,
it's great.
how unbelievably stable and on point it is. It's on fleek. It's fleeky. It's really fleeky right now. So that thing works tremendously well.
Yeah.
It'd be, the one thing that GoPro may have the ability to do is maybe have better image quality right out of the rip, because it has Pro Tune video, which the Phantom doesn't let you do.
I do think the GoPro video has always been slightly better,
But are they going
if
to?
you do it right.
The question is, are they building a drone with a? Are you going to put a hero into it,
Integrated, or is it going to
be built in?
Yeah.
So which way are they going to take that? Are they going to just build a drone and then put their image sensors into it, which, Action Cam may make more sense?
Well, especially if it's more of a consumer-friendly drone, it might make it a lot easier and just put it in.
But we're into major issues with everybody having a drone. People not knowing what they're
scary.
doing.
It's going to be the point where you look outside and you just
South
see
Park?
drones. Yeah, drones monitoring other drones. It'll be bad, but we'll see.
We'll see, and we'll see what the price point is.
I personally think DJI has perfected their drone,
or
at least
continue to perfect it.
have come very close to an excellent product. Where I think GoPro, this being their first run with the drones, I don't know if they're going to hit it out of the ballpark this time around. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I have no idea on specs or anything like that.
Don't know
so
what companies
who knows?
they've bought and acquired to get the technology.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
All right. Thank you for your photo news.
You're welcome.
As always, you can find all of the photo news and more at FroKnowsPhoto.com/RAWtalk-136. So now we're going to move into the interview. We actually conducted this interview. What?
Roll out music for photo news. Forgot again.
Why don't we roll out to divorce music? Because why don't we get some divorce music?
We got married.
We got married. Now it's time for the divorce music, brought to you by audioblocks.com/go/fro. Cue divorce music.
Why?
Get out of here. It's over.
You treat me like crap.
I don't. You treat yourself like crap. Don't put that on me. All right.
Oh, man.
All right. So earlier we sat down with Kaleb Autman.
We did.
One of the best wedding photographers in the world. If I was looking for a wedding photographer, I would look for him myself, knowing full well that he's one of the best out there with quality and also going to be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
I asked him to come in to talk. He's a Nikon ambassador. He is also runs his own classes that he teaches people about wedding photography and try to give them some insight into what he does out on the wedding. So he definitely has those going for him. But this is a very candid conversation because he's wide open. He's not beholden to anybody, and he's not pulling any punches. He's going to say it like it is. Some people may be turned off a little bit by what he says, but the funny thing is we kind of have a very similar mentality with a lot of things.
You do, definitely.
So what we're going to do now is we'll let you get to this interview with Cliff, and then stay tuned for Gear of the Week and the rest. So there you have it. Let's get into the interview with Cliff. Cliff, welcome to the poker table.
Where are the chips?
I told you they're Canon chips, and you didn't want to use those.
No, I don't.
I have 2 sets of Canon chips, and I have Flyers chips. But I have chem cards, too.
That's because using Canon, I mean, you're gambling, right?
Yeah, of course, you're gambling. Cue the fun comments for that one.
There you go.
So how was your
Isn't
trip
there
over?
like a rim shot for that, I guess?
What a...
With the Canon jokes.
Oh, like a... Oh, that.
I'll do that for
we
you.
can add. We can add it. We can totally add it
It's
later.
all good. It's a box that lets in light. We'll go there.
Yeah, we can totally talk about that soon.
Nah, we're good.
So I've introed you. I already talked about you being one of the best wedding photographers in the world. Won't talk about lists. Just consider you one of the best wedding photographers in the world because you just are.
Much appreciated. It's a very very subjective thing, though.
Of course, it's subjective,
Yep.
but you are pretty busy from the discussions that we've had. How many weddings a year are you doing?
I've done about 900 since 1998.
That's
Somewhere
a lot
in that neighborhood. There were years I was doing 60, 63. The last year I did 53. This year I had some cancellations. I think I have 41. So I'm just a little down. I would have had 45 at this point, and I'll probably wind up getting another 2 or 3 by default.
What are reasons people cancel?
Well, 2 of the people broke up.
Okay.
I had 5 cancellations. 1 got back together. They reconciled, and that was a couple weeks ago. And then 2 people moved their date to which dates I was booked.
Right.
And then 2 people just broke up. So it was 5 altogether. 1 rebooked, and then I lost 4.
So do you send anybody else ever? Like, is there
No, it's
ever?
just me.
It's
No,
just
no.
you.
Yeah.
So because there's some firms or groups.
There's nothing wrong with that as long as the client understands what
Who
they're
they're
receiving.
getting.
That's a different business model, and it's a completely different thing. Listen, I've been shooting 33 years. I don't think anybody's going to book me and not accept. They're not going to accept someone else in my place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you had it happen? Like, what happens when you shoot the wedding, and then you have to deliver a book, yet they broke up before you deliver the book?
That has happened, but usually we are unaware that actually unfolded because it is the obligation is on the client to come back to us for their album. We don't chase them down. So there have been couples that they get married and we don't hear from them for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and it's they're divorced. Okay, that's why we didn't hear back from them. So it probably happens more often than wedding photographers really think.
Yeah.
But the fact that we don't hear back from them, there's reasons why.
So let's take it back to your origins.
Yeah.
Let's start. When did you become a photographer and why?
Oh, wow. I've always been interested, even when I was a little kid. I've told the story a couple times. I was 7 years old, walking the streets of Washington, D.C. on vacation with my parents. And I'm seeing everybody, at the Smithsonian and taking pictures of all the wonderful eye candy. And I'm like, what are they doing? I want to do that. So I was an absolutely petulant little bastard, and I just like, I want a camera, I want a camera, I want a camera. So they bought me a camera from a street vendor for $1. One of these little tinker toys that just don't work.
Right.
Film this big. It didn't work. So I was going around looking through this pinhole of a viewfinder, and I was seeing the world through this pinhole, and I thought it was kind of interesting. So that kind of sparked things. And then a few years later, even in high school, my dear friend, her name was Mandy, a very, very dear friend of mine, she got involved with photography in high school, and I thought that was kind of cool. Toyed around with it then. And then in college, I had I was a law major, and I had a forensic photography course. So I did that. And then I was, like every other college kid, I was starving. And so I'm 19 years old. I saw an ad in the newspaper, said award-winning newspaper seeks photographer. It's a weekly. It was a rag. I went, I had a pulse, I got hired.
Right.
$75 a week.
Yeah, that's great.
And back in 1981, 82, it was shooting Saturdays and Sundays, little community assignments, processing and printing everything. Also, the reporters shot during the week. So I had to take their film, process my own, print it. I didn't know my f-stop from a bus stop. And learned 1985, the Philadelphia Inquirer was looking for an army of photographers to infiltrate the suburbs. I was one of the army. I was fortunate enough to get brought on by them. 15 years later and 6,000 assignments, I left in 98.
Sure. So a lot of it was self-taught.
Oh, it's all self-taught.
All self-taught.
Yeah.
Just other than the forensic course.
The forensic course was kind of a joke, but you take pictures of stuff.
Right.
No storytelling.
Have you always been Nikon since day one?
1978, my parents bought me a Nikon FE at Willoughby's in New York City, and Nikon ever since, yes.
So you're currently a Nikon ambassador.
Yes, very proud to be so.
How does that happen?
Well, you're approached, and it is the single greatest honor of my career. I've been fortunate enough to have a few things from WPPI and other recognition, but that is the single most important thing to me, because that means something. The other things are very nice, but the other thing, let's face it, awards mean nothing to clients. They mean nothing to brides. They really don't. But yes. I've been in. This is my, I believe it's my third year as an ambassador.
So what does that afford you?
Well, we represent their brand, and what does it afford me? Well, we're privy to very shortly before something comes out, like a day before, we might get notified. But there's nothing. The perks are less than what people might think.
Sure.
But it's an honor. That's really the perk right there. And I'll say the biggest perk is being in the same list of people with luminaries like Joe McNally, Amy Vitale, who is just amazing, Moose Peterson, dear friend of mine, Bill Frakes, good friend of mine. So these people that I'm associated with, they're at the pinnacle of the field. And there's no better craftsman. And Mike Corrado, who is in charge of the ambassador program, is a dear friend. And it's the personal relationships that I've developed that we had a summit this year, and having everyone get together, it was a great couple of days. So that's really the perk.
No, that sounds like a good time.
It's phenomenal.
Putting the best of the best together.
It was quite a couple. It was great. I'd never met Amy before, and she is all that in a bag of shells. She's amazing.
So with wedding photography, you're shooting the newspaper. You leave in 98. When did the bug or spark, or how did the wedding photography come about?
97 or so. Actually, 1996, there was I was best man for a friend's wedding, and a Philly photographer shot that wedding, and we were chatting, and she's I've seen your name and your byline, you should shoot weddings, and I'm like, no. I didn't want to shoot weddings. I thought they were kind of a joke. I thought it was the bride and groom staring at the camera under the gazebo. I've told the story a few times, but I went to her studio. We chatted a little bit, and I assisted her on 2 weddings. second shot for her. And I said, well, screw this, I can do this on my own. So in 97, I was interviewing for a wedding with a slide projector under one arm and a bag of mounted prints in a portfolio bag on another. I went to visit a client in South Philly. Knocked on the door, go in, showing them photographs from a photojournalistic assignment I did in Liberia, West Africa. Nothing wedding related, showing them prints of, sports and features and editorial stuff, environmental portraits. And so where's your wedding stuff? I'm like, I've never shot a wedding, of my own. And of course, everything was work for hire, so I didn't have anything.
Right.
So I asked for $1,000. They said, well, your work's beautiful, but you don't have any weddings. You don't have any experience. We'll give you $500. I said, I can't do it for $500. So we went back and forth. $650, Jared. $650 I did the wedding for. But I delivered the images, right? And then they say, so when we get our album? I'm like, album? Mm-hmm. What album? Well, got to have an album. I'm like, I don't know how to do an album. Well, we got to have an album. So back to the drawing board, do some research. Back in the day, there was a company called Art Leather.
I used Art Leather.
Okay, so not going to disparage the company with regard to the quality of the actual product, but let's just say it was less than stellar, and it was a pain in the ass to put together. I never put one together. I ordered. It comes in a shell, and then it comes with pages that you have to basically bend and insert.
And slide in.
And then you still have to buy the freaking mats.
Yeah.
Okay? So you spend all this money, you do it, and then it took me probably, and a little double-sided tape, you have to put took me about 8 hours to put this album together. I ruined probably a half dozen prints. I had to go back and forth to the lab to get reprinted. The wedding cost me $350 to do. So how much did you make on your first wedding? Minus $350.
Minus $350.
That was -3. I paid them to do the wedding.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So how are you protecting?
It's good business, isn't it?
Well, yeah. How did you step up from there?
Well, I learned that a contract might be a good thing. That
Yeah.
No, nothing gets by me after getting screwed.
So how'd you figure out your first contract?
Incrementally, first it was so basic. It was one sheet with no terms. You learn by screwing up. Very humble beginnings. Anybody that's successful in anything has humble beginnings. Mine were, you have humble. I'm down here under humble. So that's really where it started.
Yeah, and then well, I have a couple questions about the weddings, but
sure.
You talked about you jumping into digital not till 2006.
Well, I was toying with it from early days, 2003, 4, 5, D70, D100, and I was not happy with the quality of the skin tones that I was receiving.
What about the speed of the D100? I mean, you got one RAW file a second.
It was less. Well, back then we're shooting JPEG.
Yeah.
Okay, but the other thing, the speed of it bothered me less because I shot film and I wasn't looking to do bursts. One frame at a time mentality. It was the flash. Communication that bothered me. You had to use FEL, if you remember that, flash exposure lock, and you had it was so all over the board. It wasn't, TTL or like a thyristor or anything like that. It was so unpredictable. And it looked digital to me. And I figured, well, I'm just going to keep shooting film until it's there. The D2XS changed everything for me. While I couldn't really shoot it over ISO 640, it was still a sound body.
Yeah.
Excellent body, actually.
It's a great body.
And the flash exposure was spot on. It actually was very good. So I got away with that. It was frustrating when that other company came out with a 5D and was able to shoot at 1600 or even 3200. And then soon after that, in 2007, they got to D3 and that changed the world.
Well, the D3 changed everything. Because
it did.
I thought about switching to Canon because I had a D2H. I waited to buy. I didn't like the D100, didn't like a D7. They weren't professional bodies. And I said, when something matches what my F5 does, I'll jump to it.
Well, it's a professional. If it's shot by a professional, I've seen certain people. I saw Jerry Guionis do magic with the D100.
Yeah.
But you have to consider the source. He's
Sure.
a wonderful photographer. I made some nice pictures with it as well. But still, I was still shooting my F5, and very soon after that, I was still shooting an F6. And then Nikon was like, well,
F6.
F6. Oh, F6 was a great.
I heard.
buy.
Yeah. Do you still have it?
I have two.
Because F6 is like, that camera was so sought after because it was basically coming out after digital was already here.
I still have it, and they're not for sale.
Yeah.
I still, what they're worth, and loved it, and it was a smooth shutter. Everything about it was wonderful. And then I realized that if I kept shooting film, then listen. If there was a headline for me, it's analog guy in a digital world, and Rangefinder did a story on me a few years ago, titled it just that, and I tell that story. It's I could have been left behind very easily, like many photographers that could not make the transition, and I had to. It was evolve or die.
Well, and that's where we're at today. But devolving is coming back because a lot of you see these brides are asking for guys to shoot film.
The question I'll ask those brides is there a reason that you want film shot at your wedding? Very seldom do I hear it's a good reason. The only reason that some of the brides think that they want it is, I want that look. Well, I can emulate that look very, very closely with digital. With Exposure 7 and certain things out there that do a wonderful job at film emulation, I can do it. That's not an issue. But when I tell them that if I'm in their church, okay, and it's dark, I can't go in there with, Fuji 16, whatever it was, I guess, I can't go in there with NPH or even any of the faster films. I'm not going to be able to shoot it at ISO 10,000.
Right.
And I explain it in very layman's terms. They understand it. It's accepted. No problem. Now, Jose shoots film. He's wonderful. He's very gifted. He makes it work for him. I think there's a few others. Elizabeth Messina, I think, still shoots film. I'm not quite sure. There's some people that make it work for them. For me, give me my D4S and I'm going into a wedding, and that's the tool I want.
So how many bodies you bringing?
I'm bringing 5 bodies to a wedding. I bring my D4, 2 D4Ss, a D4, a D750, and every once in a while I'll still bring out my D800 if I see something that I need mega resolution. I still have that, and I have a D4 with a 7200 VR1 in my trunk as a backup. So I do bring 5 bodies. You never know.
How many lenses?
9.
9 lenses?
9 lenses.
What's your go-to, or is it dependent upon the situation?
It's really, people ask me that, but I just, Rangefinder just asked for a shot of my bag. What's in your bag? They're doing a little "What's in your bag" feature. It's like food. It's like a recipe. Without one ingredient, the meal isn't very good.
Sure.
So must-haves for me: my 85-1.4, my 7200, crucial. 35-1.4. Those. If I'm traveling and I only bring 4 or 5 lenses, it's my 35-1.4, my 85-1.4, my 7200. My 24-70, and also my 16-35.
The F4 over the 14-24?
Yes, I will. I don't really love shooting people with a 14-24. It's not something that I want to do quickly. I think you have to be very careful when putting people in the corner of that lens.
Yeah.
Like I am right now.
Well, you're at 22. You're at 24 millimeters.
I'm just teasing.
You're not spread.
It's rectilinear. It's corrected. It's a wonderful piece of glass. But again, I don't really shoot people with the 14-24. It's a special lens. Room shots and architecture, landscape. Man, nothing beats that 14-24.
I just showed you that space
I
photo.
think it's spectacular.
That nobody has seen because that's 14
and
in the desert.
edge to edge, for my money, it's the sharpest super wide there is.
The 11-24 Canon F4 is pretty insane right
Never
now.
used it. Wouldn't know.
It's hard to get.
They
can't put them out quick enough.
That's good.
That's the problem. I mean, I tried to get one to take to the desert,
right?
But Canon couldn't even send me one. because they didn't have them.
I can't speak. Listen, I'm sure it's a fine lens.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these people who just throw mud at anything. I like what I use, and
Of course,
And
that's what it comes down to. What you're
Yeah.
comfortable with, and what we
That's right.
know that no matter what, if I was to hand you a 5D SR right now to shoot a wedding and gave you all the lenses you needed, you'd be able to do it.
I'd be able to figure it out, even though certain things might be backwards. I think figuring out my focus points, even something, exposure comp, I'd have to figure that out. In my workshops, I'm not terribly adept at using a Canon piece of equipment. And as a joke, sometimes if I have someone's Canon in my hand, someone will take a picture of me holding a Canon. I'm like, that's not funny. So.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of people get into this, not issue, but the mindset of it's gear.
Please, it's without question, it's the Indian, it's not the arrow. I just think that my arrows in my hands are maybe a little sharper, a little more accurate. So, listen, I love my gear. It's what I'm used to. It's what I represent, and I'm proud of it.
Sure.
So that's kind of all. There's no need to put anything else down.
So how many people shoot with you during a wedding?
I have an assistant. I don't have a second shooter. Okay. He'll take care of my cocktail hour. He'll take care of every once in a while a different angle at the ceremony or something of that sort. If there's a choir loft or balcony at the reception, but it's not like there's two people shooting all day. It's just me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I don't think that, and I don't want to offend anybody, but the concept of second shooters, for the most part, whoever's doing that second shooting, for the most part, is hoping to gain experience so that sooner or later maybe they can be a first photographer. Granted, it's the chicken or the egg. You have to get experience. But in the end, when I'm putting together a cohesive album, I don't think that the style contrast between what I'm able to do with the way I'm going to use light and shadow is going to jibe very well with what a second shooter is bringing me, and have my images and his or her images on the same page. And I don't think it's going to be very cohesive.
Sure.
So that's one of the main reasons. But while I'm doing one thing during the cocktail hour, that person's going around can I take a picture of the two of you? Can I take a picture of the three of you? Can I take, no problem.
Right.
And that frees me up to do other things.
Right.
And lighting, and the assistant's job for me is lighting, because all of my off-camera lighting is essential for the look of my images, for the family photos, for the reception images, all that. It's all, off-camera work.
Got it.
One speed light, that's all I need.
That's it? One?
That's it.
Just one speed light to rule them all?
One speed light for a wedding. That's really all I need. I'm trying to use as much ambient as possible, balancing that. I don't need 4 strobes going off or 4 speed lights going off at a reception. I'm not trying to bring the ambient light level up. I'm trying to go to the ambient light level and supplement.
Sure. So what is your, how are you acquiring weddings?
Well, mostly word of mouth, venue referrals, prior clients that's the finest way to acquire them. It's harder today for anyone listening or watching. It's a difficult world out there. It's and I have no advantage over anybody else in this field with respect to booking weddings. A lot of my workshop students well, how do you do it? No, you've got all these awards. No, the clients don't care about that stuff. They don't know about that stuff. So I'm on an equal playing field. So I have to prove my work is better. And customer service, Jared, customer service, without question, is as or more important than the photos. I don't mean to bust anybody's bubble. It is as or more important.
So what's something that you've done for a customer that has just gone above and beyond?
Well, you see this thing right here?
Yep.
This is on from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Clients know that they can pick up the phone and reach me. They have access to me. I don't pawn it off to my studio manager. Okay. Anybody who wants to take my workshop, they call. And they're like, oh, you answered your phone. I'm like, well, it's my phone.
Yeah.
So the access, the personability, the personal touch, being able to answer their questions when they're asked. If an email is is received, it's replied to immediately. Whether I'm on the golf course, no matter what I'm doing, maybe that's above and beyond. Maybe that's ridiculous to some people.
But it's how you run a business.
I find it important for people to be able to know that I care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that definitely helps. So here's don't know if you have an exact number. The ratio of requests to bookings. Like how many people are sending requests?
That's a great question. Okay, people are shocked. My booking rate is minuscule.
I'd say 10 to 1, 12 to 1?
Oh, if that. Because it's a numbers game. I have to find so many people need to inquire for me to find a hit. Because whether it's budgets or the date's booked already or, so when I hear people talk about, I've got a 95% booking rate, I'm like, really? Oh. Good for you. That you must not get that many inquiries.
Right.
Because, for those that say they have a 90% booking rate, I applaud them. I'm not going to place doubt. But all I'll talk about is myself and tell you that my booking rate is extremely low. Very low.
Well, I mean, you are in the higher echelon of price. Is that correct?
I can't say that for sure, but I would imagine I'm higher than most.
You're not a $2,000 wedding.
Maybe less than some.
Okay. Yeah. And so the question that a lot of us get, or a lot of wedding photographers will get, is in an email, how much do you charge? Do you try to get people on the phone first before you start getting to that part?
If the typical email, please give me your availability and pricing and package information. I'm going to reply with a request to speak with them and ask if I can give them some insight into my approach and my style and answer their questions and find out what's important to them.
Oh yeah, because sometimes it's not the right fit.
And I again, the last part is I want to find out what's important to the client and then customize something for them. Rather than just regurgitate a price that listen, if they have X, maybe they'll have X plus 1,000. And if they're just going to put me on a spreadsheet, I'm not going to look good on a spreadsheet. I need to let them know what I'm about.
Well, that's what you do. I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of. This is my work. This is what I charge.
Right.
I can work with you. Let's figure out, if it's the right fit.
Well, it's not. It's depending upon the date. I mean, there's no budging. It's not like I'm going to negotiate, but I want them to understand the value in what I provide. That's really it.
But that's the most important too. But it starts with work. And if somebody's just tire kicking, you're probably not the right fit.
Well, I don't mind tire kickers because
it gives you an opportunity.
Well, I never judge. You don't judge a book by its cover. You can have someone contact you. And I think some photographers and those watching that might make this mistake. If it's an inquiry and it, on there it says, yes, we're getting married at the local VFW or, such and such a place, you don't dismiss it. You treat it like someone's contacting you from the Four Seasons.
Sure.
Because you can't judge the book by its cover.
That's good advice. Did you ever do bridal shows or get involved in any of that?
I personally haven't. For me, I believe personally they're a waste of my time, but that's not to say that other people don't find it valuable.
I found certain ones valuable, but for me, when I was shooting weddings, I had to find the right fit. And this was 2007, 2006, 2007, 2008, when nobody was having money.
It's more today, frankly. SEO is a crucial element in everyone's business right now. So I would spend the money in optimizing your site more than I would on a bridal show.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And target venues.
Yeah, well, that's a thing. So what do you think what is your stance on the wedding industry today, the current state of the industry?
Well, it's devalued tremendously.
What has caused a devaluation?
Sheer numbers. DSLRs that are very, very good. iPhones, I think, have devalued the industry. Just listen, Jared. We as in people who have been doing this for quite some time and shot film, and again, the transition from film to digital affected things quite a bit. But the main thing is, it's devalued because we're no longer looked at as wizards and magicians and craftsmen. back in the day, and I'm not waxing poetic because I love my gear. I love shooting digital. And I was one of the last film holdouts, trust me. Wedding-wise, I was probably maybe dead last in October of 2006. That's when I shot my first all-digital wedding, which is very late. But when someone would have a wedding shot, okay, and a few weeks later, they saw the images, they would see the images those weeks later for the first time with awe. Wow, look, this unbelievable. Oh, she looked like this, and look at that gown, and blah, you know, and no one could see. You take the picture, you don't look at the back of the goddamn camera. Okay, so today, before they see my images, they've seen 500 frames on iPhones. They've seen so many other images. So I have to wow them to the 10th degree with the images that I provide. Hopefully I do. And that's where the value is placed. It's been devalued a great deal.
So you have workshops. You mentioned workshops earlier.
Yep.
So talk about the workshops first off. Where can people find out information about that?
cmphotography.com or cmbootcamp.com. They can see a video or two on what to expect. I don't think there's a better workshop out there right now. If you look at the reviews, I don't advertise for it. You're not going to get a spam email from me. It's all word of mouth. So, cmphotography.com, under the photographers tab, Google reviews of the workshop. It is to empower photographers with the skills necessary to go after a style of their own.
Sure.
And it's done that. So
do you worry? I know you don't worry, but do you worry that you're creating your competition at all?
No, not at all. Because if I can teach them skills, I can teach them how to use shadow as their canvas and light as their paint, which is one of the things I like to say. I can teach them that shadow to highlight relationship. I can't teach them how to see.
Sure.
So I don't have a problem with that.
So who shot your wedding?
I had a couple different people. We've had, I'd say there were a good dozen photographers, everyone from Eric Mentor, who's a very dear friend of mine with his iPhone, who's amazing. Daniel Kudish out of Canada, Marcus Bell out of Australia, it was Mary Beth Tyson out of Florida, and Ben Chrisman.
So you had 27 photographers.
We
at
had
your
a
wedding.
few different people doing their thing, and they were all guests.
Right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
Did it turn out well?
Spectacular.
So that's the way to do it. Hire 27 people.
Well, yeah, or have them take you out the night before and have a good time, and but it was a wonderful event and great people. You haven't asked me anything like outlandish. I expected you're Jared Pollan, man, Fro knows and all this, and I did a little research on you, and it's like. Where are the bizarre questions, man?
I don't do gotcha questions. Kelby said the same thing.
Okay.
When I sat down there in Florida, we got done the interview, and he's like, I expected you to try to ask me why I switched to Canon or something like that. And I'm like, no, I wanted to know your story.
There you go. That's cool.
And that's what it's all about.
I appreciate it.
Here it is.
Good.
How do you temper expectations? Because a lot of brides will sit there on The Knot, and they'll sit there on Pinterest, and they'll find these extravagantly put together images that are clearly, to the photographer, they're not done during a wedding day.
Here's the best answer when I get the Pinterest board, okay? I will look at it, and first of all, you can't dismiss the bride's interest in Pinterest. But what you can say when they send you that board, you must speak to them on the phone. Listen, so-and-so. And this happened to me, and it worked out well. Thank you so much for taking the time to research, images, and I appreciate so much that you're showing me that this stuff is important to you. It's nice to know what's important, but my suggestion is, why have these preconceived notions of what's going to unfold when it's an event that hasn't even taken place yet? Why not let me give you the artistic vision of your event without having to put myself and pigeonhole myself into this little box that you've given me, and allow me to give you images that many other people will want to pin later on. And they're like, oh yeah, that's why we hired you, blah, blah, blah. And then there's other times you have to go a little further, because sometimes there's images, let's say it's a wedding in the city, and they send you a couple photos and they're on the freaking beach.
Right.
It's like, is that the Walnut Street Beach?
Yeah.
So they're going to do it, and you have to temper the expectations with kit gloves, a lot of love and a lot of care.
Well, it's communication.
Without question, but it has to be done respectfully. That's all. You respect the client, they're going to respect you.
Have you run into any major horror stories in your years of shooting?
I really haven't. I know some people. I don't have, and even if I did, I'm not going to kiss and tell in terms of a client. So just out of respect for my clients,
sure.
I've been pretty fortunate. I really do appreciate my clients and respect them.
Right. And yeah. Anything you want to ask?
No. I guess if people are interested, the workshops are very unique. They definitely are. We have people that are incredibly successful afterwards. One of my former students received the North American Children's Photographer of the Year award just last year. They're winning awards at WPPI. It's I'm very proud of them.
So to kind of wrap it up,
yeah.
Suggestions for people getting into the wedding game today.
Quit.
Yeah.
I am not going to go negative, but I do need to say this. With the devaluation, and thank you for asking that, with the devaluation of the craft, wedding photography in particular, I'm going to make a bold statement. I don't know how viable just shooting weddings for a living is going to be in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I don't know if it's going to be, now, that depends upon your way of life, okay? And just because you're charging, and I figured this out, and also using some PPA standards. Let's say you shoot 30 weddings and you break $3,500 per wedding. And that's about a national average or so. And so you're shooting. There it is, $105,000. You broke that six-figure mark, which is a fair income for many people in this country. Just because you're making $105,000 doesn't mean you're making $105,000. Just because it's coming in doesn't mean you're making it. With the taxes and gear and insurance, everything, that works out to be about $38,000. $38,000.
Nice tax bracket.
Well, it's not just the taxes. It's phones, gear. Well, that doesn't even include health care. Okay? What if you want to save a little bit?
Right.
Forget it. So just because you're charging X doesn't mean you're making X. That's the biggest mistake people make, and that's how people get knocked out of business. So if someone's charging $4,000 or whatever it might be between taxes, an album, geez, a decent album is with prints is probably $500-$600, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then you have to pay an assistant, and then you have to, it's insane. So they have to take that into consideration. And when someone comes back for that album, if there's an album included, you damn well better have that money in January for that album.
Right. Yeah, because you still have to make it.
Yeah.
Right. I think one of the issues today is a lot of people do this quote unquote, I want to make the jump to become a pro, where they think that it's just you make a decision and you become a quote unquote professional photographer. It doesn't work like that, especially today. I think one of the best things that people can do is you shoot and you have your job. You have somebody made I don't know where I heard this on one of my tech blogs or something that I read that talks about billionaires and millionaires and the very successful people in business don't have one source of income. They have 7. They have 7 different sources of income coming in because it's from different areas. And that's how they can continue to grow and be successful. And it's just like when you hear like photography, now today you've got video. You have the option of shooting video, not saying for weddings, but in general, if you do a portrait session for a corporate client, you could be like, yeah, why don't I do video for you? Because they need video. So you have other sources of income there. It's tough. It's obviously much tougher today.
Diversification is obviously crucial to one's survival. Strictly speaking about photography, again, in terms of wedding photography, you gotta diversify. And in terms of what you stated, how do I turn pro? Well, that's a perception that is perceived from person to person. So it really varies.
Sure. All right, Cliff.
Yeah, man.
We'll call it a day.
All right.
Thank you for that. Sorry I didn't scare you with questions.
No offense taken.
All right, cool.
All right,
All right, guys. We'll be right back. And there you have it. That is the interview with Cliff. Really good stuff. Now, some people may be upset about the way it ended with what he thinks about wedding photography, but he's not far off. But it's not trying to discourage you from going after what you think you need to go after. You just have to be smart. You just have to have those multiple sources of revenue, which is true in any business.
Very true.
I don't have just one source of revenue for this business. There's 10 sources of revenue. You just have to, because sometimes some lapse and others come up where you may have a lot of weddings, you may get less weddings. You just need to have these things
something
laid
to
out.
keep you going.
Right. So for more information, you can go to his website that has popped up on the screen, also over on FroKnowsPhoto.com/RAWtalk-136. And if you want to take a class with Cliff, you are going to learn quite a bit about lighting. Now, I'm sure he won't guarantee that you come out of there with booking a ton more weddings or jobs, but the education and knowledge that you are going to gather from somebody who has mastered the light extremely well and is a Nikon ambassador it's going to be well worth it. Now, you don't need to just have Nikon gear. You can have Canon. You can have whatever you have, because it's about what you do with the gear that you put in your hands.
Yep.
That is the interview, and there you have that. Gear O the week. Let me get the Gear O the week.
Gear O the week. It's a backpack.
This
/backpack
is a MindShift Gear Rotation 180 Horizon.
Ooh.
I did not take this to the Grand Canyon
It
because
looks used.
it's not used.
I know.
I did not take it to the Grand Canyon because we needed space, and I knew that we weren't doing hiking, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Now, it would have been easier to lug my bags around, my camera gear around, if we were doing the hiking stuff, but we had off-roading vehicles, and when I walked, I used my shoulder bag that collapsed down much smaller to go ahead and take with me on the road. I would have loved to have taken a Sutter. What bag do you have?
I have the Rotation 180 Professional, which was the first bag, their debut company's bag. They're all the same. They all have the basic same idea of the belt pack that rotates around, so you don't have to take your bag off of you to shoot out of.
The thing that is really cool is that you have the one-handed that you can do the latch, and then it's magnetized, so it finds its way back in to the thing without doing much, and it's really secure. So the cool part is, I'm going to take this off the table because it's taking up way too much room. Sutter, you want to get the thing for us? You have the rotational pack, which you could put a 70-200 with a D4S in it.
Yeah.
Or in the top part, you could put other jackets and food and water, because actually you can get a bladder for it, right, Sutter?
Yeah, the side
bladder. You can put a bladder in the side pocket, and it's from Think Tank, basically. Mm-hmm. It's a separate company called MindShift Gear, but it's from the people behind Think Tank, and it's for more of the travel. It's built like a brick shit house. It's done. It's really nice bag.
Think Tank quality.
I would like to carry more gear around, but they have an insert which goes into the top, which allows you to do that. So nice bag. That one I believe is only $200. How much was yours?
I think if you get the full package of the Pro version, it's $4 or $5-ish, but I don't know exactly offhand.
Okay.
I think it's like $389, so it's like $400.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That is a pretty expensive bag. But this one is a less expensive. It's a little smaller, but if you are hiking and you want to carry your gear around and get to it quick, MindShift has done a great job.
Yeah, if you need
with
one
that.
bag to do it all, that's it.
So that is gear. Well, there is no one bag to do it all.
I'm just saying for hiking, that's a pretty good bag.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome,
Steven.
Sir.
We've done that. We've done that. We've done that. We are up to Wheel of Fro.
We are.
Which we did not spin last week.
We did not. We couldn't lug this thing around with us.
No, which is
too big.
perfectly fine. So what we are doing this week is spinning twice. We are going to blink the people's names on the screen, because before RAWtalk today, I went onto Facebook and said, you have 30 minutes to tell me what prize you would like to win off of the wheel. Doesn't mean that I'm going to give you a freaking camera.
Give me a 1DX.
Like, I could use a new camera. Well, that's not on the wheel. So you aren't getting picked because you don't follow the show or know what's on the wheel. If you know what's on the wheel, then you may have been picked. 2 people. Their names, don't know them yet. They're going to get picked later, but they will blink on the screen in editing.
Only for a frame. Very quickly.
One frame.
Very quick blink.
I love
All
when
right.
videos have that like random photo in between frames.
All right. So there were 900 before the show, 969 different comments left because I guess people want a chance to win to spin the wheel of
People
Fro.
love free
And
stuff,
about
man.
800 were asking for camera bodies.
Some were asking for camera bodies. Some were asking for things that weren't on the wheel. So I can guarantee you that if you ask for something that isn't on the wheel, you're not getting picked. Sorry.
Damn.
Okay, let's go around the wheel.
Let's do it.
On the wheel, we've got, hey, look at that. Rode.
Oh.
So happens to be this week's sponsor.
Yes.
We use the Rode broadcaster mics. It's actually in our logo as well for RAWtalk.
It is.
And we absolutely, positively love this. And let me tell you something.
Tell me.
It's one thing to have the right tool for the job, but it's another thing to know what you're doing with the audio when you have that tool.
Definitely.
Because just
Yes.
because you buy the best microphone or a great broadcast microphone, if you fuck it up when it comes to recording and how to process it, or you don't know how to process it, I don't know how to process it. That's what Steven's job is to do, is to make RAWtalk sound incredible, and he does a fantastic job at that. So you can have the tool to get the raw audio, but if you don't know what you're doing after the fact, you're going to be SOL. So
Very true.
So this is a great tool for capturing the audio. You need to be less of a tool and know how to do the audio. Wow, that was good. Next to a question mark. If it lands on the question mark, you get to pick anything off the wheel.
Anything in the world.
Anything you want. Except for the grand prize. Borrow Lenses, $250 in Borrow Lenses credit. Big shout out to Borrow Lenses for hooking us up with the gear we needed to meet us out at the Grand Canyon and for a bunch of Canon lenses, tripods, and other things that we needed for the shoot.
They ship so much stuff out for us.
Fro Prize, you know what that is. Squarespace, go to squarespace.com/Fro to get 10%. Well, to get your 14-day free trial. You're going to love it. I almost guarantee it, that if you don't have a website or your website isn't very easy to use, go to squarespace.com/Fro, take your 14-day free trial, sign up for it. It helps me. You get 10% off. And if you sign up for a year, you get a free domain for $12.99 for the first year. Videoblocks.com/go/Fro. That's where we get a lot of the video stuff. And then we've got, the video B-roll stuff. And then there's a hole, right? There's nothing
so I can
in
get
it.
anything I want.
You can get, if it lands on the white space, if it lands on the blank spaces. I'm going to fill in what the blank space is right now. All right? Spell it. I'm going to spell it out, and can you say it, each letter?
Sure.
So for the people at home that can't see.
For the people that are blind and watching on YouTube,
Canon 1DX Nikon D4S package.
that's a big old L with an E
A little slower.
and an X.
How do you spell it?
A.
Oh my God.
It's an A.
And I think an R is coming next.
And
a nice underline.
Nice. Look at that.
Lexar. So Lexar's on the wheel. You'll probably win either some cards or the Lexar hub.
Yes.
They're new onto the wheel. Thank you. And they are the official card of RAWtalk.
We used all their cards too for the trip.
We did use their cards
Yeah.
for the trip. We used it in the
Everything.
CF card, the SD card, and the micro SD card in the drone.
Yep.
So there you have that. Black Rapid, get your Black Rapid strap if it lands on that. Rode microphone is on there again. Then we've got the, if it lands and spin again, guess what happens?
1DX?
Canon 1DX.
And then if it lands in this area right about here, not here, but if it lands here, you get the Atomos Ninja 2, which
Valued
is
at
like
$695.
$700. Right, but when Bare Bones comes out, $395.
$395.
Adorama Picks, get some Adorama Picks credit. I will have an affiliate link soon for them.
Nice.
Because you remember when I gave away that other code? If you use my affiliate link, that means anytime you make a print or spend anything, I'm going to benefit from that. It's an affiliate link.
So I would never use it.
So you can use it. It's a way to say thank you to the show. It doesn't cost you anything more. And from time to time, if it lands on that, maybe we'll have a new code to give away some stuff.
Cool.
Fro Prize, Think Tank, bag. We've got audioblocks.com/go/Fro. We've got another blank space, which is going to get a Lexar.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, I want to win Taylor Swift.
That
Blank
is a
spaces, Taylor
bad
Swift.
hell.
TCL Swift.
Canon.
Wow, that one was way worse.
I didn't want to spend the time to write it. So Lexar is up there twice. We've got Lightroom, Creative Cloud. Oh, and then we're back to Rode. So the first name that we're spinning for won't blink yet.
Oh, I just blinked. You guys missed it.
No. Did you do it?
No, I'm
You
kidding.
could maybe do that. Do like one frame.
No, because it's going to be hard to stop if it's literally one frame.
I know, but the whole point is I want it to come up after the fact.
Okay.
So
all
maybe
right, all right.
blink it. You ready?
Yep.
Sutter?
Wheel of Fro!
Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. The Wheel of Fro this week is going to stop for the first spin on...
This is a long spin.
Oh, man.
Rode microphone. Congratulations goes to
1DX. Oh, my God.
you. Just won yourself a Rode microphone. Rode will ship that all the way to you from Australia.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a nice package. Congratulations to... Bloop. You've won. All right, time to spin it again. Let me tell you what's on the wheel this week. All right, you ready, Sutter?
Yeah, I'm ready.
man.
Are you ready, Jared?
Yeah.
Wheel of Fro!
Oh, hey, what's up?
Around and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. I spun the wheel really hard
Sounds like a weed whacker.
to be my hero. You can be my hero, wheel. The Wheel of Fro is going to stop on my face. Congratulations goes out to...
1DX.
No, goes out to... You just won my face.
Oh, man.
You're going to win some Fro prizes, which tend to be my video guides. Congratulations to... Bloop. You won something. So those are the two spins of the Wheel of Fro this week. Thank you to Lexar for being a part of the show. And that is, you don't want me to ever recap.
No, I don't, but you do it anyway.
Thank you to Cliff for coming in.
Oh, yeah. Huge
I've
thanks.
talked to Cliff even before
Great
I
guy.
had FroKnowsPhoto.com. I called the guy on the phone and we had a conversation.
Nice.
He just likes to talk.
Cool.
I like to talk.
He's like you.
We're very similar people. He likes to shoot by himself.
likes Nikon.
And doesn't like relying on the other people. I like to do the same thing. I shoot Nikon. But as you know, we took the 5DSR. You took it to a concert yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I
Did you take the version 270 to 200 with you?
did.
You took it.
I took the version 2.
And how'd it go?
It went pretty well. I actually shot at a decently lower ISO than I thought I was going to have to. But we still got sent all the way to the back, front of house.
Well, that's why I was like, why don't you take the 5DSR? Because you could crop it.
Well, that's what I ended up doing.
And it held up really
And
well.
it does hold up very well when you crop in on that thing.
That's one of those things where you have the ability to do it if you need to for what you were doing.
I mean, this is online web gallery. I'm cropping it.
Yeah, so anyway, we've been working with the 5DSR. I don't care what you put in my hands. There's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
Some of the landscapes look better on the Nikon or the Canon. And then on the flip side, some of the Nikons look better than the Canon. It doesn't matter. It's all dependent upon what you're doing. Pros and cons to both doesn't matter.
I do love the high resolution, though, I will say, because it's more of a fine grain noise.
But not good for high ISO, so
No,
it's not,
no.
but that's a given.
Depending on what you're doing, yeah.
It all depends on what you're doing. Sutter, you have anything you need to add this week or talk about?
Nope.
Any companies hook you up with stuff this week?
Yeah, I mean, a couple. So MindShift, obviously. Polar Indie Photo Lab
Ooh.
is sponsoring and paying for my film and processing.
Word.
Is it expired film?
No, it's real film. A company called Meat and Nuts.
Here's 5-year-old.
They were-
Wait, who?
Meat and Nuts. They were a Kickstarter snack food company. It's like free range chicken jerky and nuts sort of thing. So they're hooking me up with some stuff. And
Meat and Nuts.
Meat and
It's Jared's
Nuts.
favorite.
I love meat and nuts.
And there's just some other people. We're still working some things out on the fence.
So you got all of this just by asking, basically.
Yeah, just sending a couple emails saying this is what I'm doing. If you want to work together, then great. You know?
Hey, you better follow through.
Oh, definitely.
But you have to follow through. All the words you say, all the things I do. Gavin DeGraw.
I know.
I should give him a call. He's coming to town. He's touring with Shania Twain.
Is he still doing that once a month thing in New York?
He
with
was doing it with Billy Joel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now he's going to be touring with Shania Twain.
Is he?
He's going to stop in Philly, so maybe we can do... You know what? Maybe we can set up like a RAWtalk before and sit down with him and just talk.
Can we do it like mid-show when he's performing? Just stop everything and
stop everything.
RAWtalk time.
Hey, all right. Hey, everybody, from here to see
Big
Shania
spotlight.
Twain. Hey, stop trying to extend the show, Steven. So thank you to everybody that's listening. Thank you to all of the sponsors for making everything possible and making the travel stuff. We want to travel more. Big shout out to Cliff. Check out his site. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Steven. Congratulations to everybody who won on the Wheel of Fro. And that is RAWtalk episode number 136. Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.